So welcome back everyone. Today we'll be studying internal security का next topic, that is left wing extremism. I told you in the last video of internal security that next topic we'll be studying left wing extremism or Maoism, or known as Naxalism. Why? Because it was started in Naxalbari district of West Bengal. ठीक है. This actually dates back to 1960s when this left-wing extremism was started. This was actually started under the leadership of Charu Majumdar and कानू सन्याल. ठीक है. सो अभी जो लेफ्ट विंग एक्सट्रीमिज्म के क्वेश्चंस आए हुए हैं, आई मीन जो PYQs आए हुए हैं, वो आए हुए हैं विद रिलेशन टू 5th शेड्यूल. The non-implementation of 5th schedule has led to the growth of left-wing extremism. That means it is a governance deficit. So हमें governance deficit पे prepare करना है. Governance deficit पे prepare करना है का मतलब है हमें drivers of Naxalism prepare करना है. ठीक है. Then we have to study about कि there is a downward trend. So downward trend पे एक question था. Downward trend पे एक question था, मतलब we need to know some of the stats. और stats के अलावा we also need to know कि डाउनवर्ड ट्रेंड है. व्हाई इज दिस डाउनवर्ड ट्रेंड? क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट हैज़ टेकन सम इनिशिएटिव्स फॉर इट एंड वी नीड टू नो दोज इनिशिएटिव्स व्हिच हैज़ बीन टेकन बाय गवर्नमेंट सो एज टू रिड्यूस नक्सलिज्म. अभी तो ये अमित शाह जी का हमारे वो है ना कि टारगेट मार्च 2026 से 2026 तक दे विल एलिमिनेट लेफ्ट विंग एक्सट्रीमिज्म फुली फ्रॉम द कंट्री. अभी उनकी एक स्टेटमेंट भी आई थी रिसेंटली कि दिस मॉनसून Naxalites won't be able to rest properly. ठीक है. एनीवेज, और डाउनवर्ड ट्रेंड का आया है. और दूसरा द प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस which have been there is the solutions which have government adopted. I mean the multi-pronged strategy which is adopted by government so as to solve the problem of Naxalism. इस multi-pronged strategy में it is civil administration, it is security forces, it is administrative, मतलब वही civil administration और the administrative staff, the security forces and the government of India की multi-pronged strategy क्या रही है. सबसे पहले we'll be studying left wing extremism की definition, क्योंकि कहीं भी अगर आपको लिखना होगा ना introduction, तो definition based introduction is the best introduction. लेफ्ट विंग एक्सट्रीमिज्म की डेफिनेशन करता है कि इट इज़ अ इज़म है ना. जब भी आखिरी में विल सी इज़म, it is a political ideology or it is an ideology. It is basically an ideology that advocates for radical social, economic, political change. That advocates for social, economic, political change and wants to establish a socialist or a communist regime. And how will it establish this socialist and a communist regime? Through violent means. Because Mao Zedong कहते थे ना कि the power flows from the barrel of the gun. That means you will acquire power when you will resort to violent means. Anyways, you can also write in the introduction along with the definition. There has been a quote by our honorable former Prime Minister of India, Manmohan Singh ji, who has described this problem as one of the gravest threat which is affecting India's internal security. Right? You can also make a map so as to show, and then also wait, I'm just drawing a map of India. This is Rajasthan, this is Gujarat. I'm sorry, I might not be drawing it very correctly, but I'll try my best. This is Nepal, this is Sikkim, this is, now this is this. ठीक है. I hope this serves the purpose. So this is this red corridor जहाँ पे उनकी presence है, covering the states of Chhattisgarh, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha and so on and so forth. ठीक है. Now this is the proposed corridor. Propose किया है. They wish to expand themselves and make known as something known as golden corridor from Pune to Ahmedabad. उनकी wish है. It's a very very ambitious people. They are very ambitious people. They want to establish golden corridor which is actually spanning from Pune to Ahmedabad, and then they have made strategic alliances. They have made strategic alliances in northeast, ठीक है, along with insurgents. मतलब माओइस्ट्स प्लस इंसर्जेंट्स, वो कहते हैं ना कि हाँ हमारे साथ प्रॉब्लम क्या है, वी एक्चुअली हैव diffused agencies or multiple agencies, fragmented agencies like fragmented intelligence agencies, and they are united enemies. So this is an example of united enemies, ठीक है. And now there is something which is emerging, a new threat or a new problem which is emerging. I can say the problem of what is known as urban Naxalism. Urban Naxalism is the people in the urban areas who are actually supporting the Naxalites either financially or ideologically, ठीक है. They are supporting them either financially or ideologically, ठीक है. They are known as the problem of urban Naxalism, ठीक. Now let us proceed. आगे इसमें you can write the strategies which are adopted by Naxalite people. They actually indulge in something known as guerrilla warfare against their armed forces. छुप छुप के वार करते हैं. They are the coward people. The guerrilla warfare is guerrilla warfare. Then they are forming, as I told you earlier, the strategic alliances with the northeast insurgents. Then their proposed corridor, they wish to, as I told you, they are a very ambitious organization. They wish to establish themselves from Pune to Ahmedabad, known as Golden Corridor. Then they indulge or they run parallel government where there is developmental deficit or governance deficit. They indulge themselves in making parallel government and parallel judiciary known as Jan Adalats. I'm sorry for the background noise. I'm really very sorry. I'll repeat the point. They have indulged themselves in making parallel government. The parallel government and the parallel judiciary known as Jan Adalats. जन की अदालत है, जो अदालत है, जुडिशरी है, जन, पीपल्स कोर्ट. इफ आई हैव टू ट्रांसलेट, इट इज पीपल्स कोर्ट, ठीक है. सो दीज आर द स्ट्रैटेजीज विच हैव बीन अडॉप्टेड बाय द नक्सलाइट पीपल, एंड ऑब्वियसली their entire, what should I say, how do they operate is by the ideology of Mao, which says, Mao Zedong, who says that the power flows from the barrel of the gun, ठीक है. So you can quote Mao Zedong following his ideology. Now, what are the main, the important, what are the causes or what are the drivers of left wing extremism, ठीक है. पहला we'll be writing about land. Land को हम बोलते हैं 3 J's. 3 J's. जल, जंगल and ज़मीन. कैसे याद करना है, I'm telling you that. दूसरा is displacement. Now this displacement has led to the economic problems. They have displaced, so they are facing social problems. It is also due to governance or developmental deficit, ठीक है. Then you can write about governance or developmental deficit. Then you can write about the international factors also. International factors also which are sponsoring or fueling it. As China has described it or wished कि it should grow, it should expand. उसने थंडर नाम दिया है इसको, थंडर, कि it should expand, ठीक है. पाकिस्तान is the suppliers of arms, ammunitions, so as to create instability, instability in India. We'll now understand these factors in detail. First is land, ठीक है. पहला क्या है हमारा, लैंड. आई होप दिस कलर इज विजिबल. लैंड which is जल, जंगल, दिस इज फॉरेस्ट, जल इज वाटर एंड ज़मीन, ठीक है. ज़मीन में पहले यू नॉन इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, और आई शुड बी सेइंग नॉन प्रॉपर इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, मतलब देयर वाज नो प्रॉपर इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ लैंड रिफॉर्म्स. दिस वाज द रीज़न which actually led to not availing the benefits of the land as an asset, ठीक है. So they were alienated from the land because of problem of concentration of land in the hands of few. इसी के अगेंस्ट तो हमारा DPSP है, which wants to prevent this concentration of land in the hands of few. Anyways, दूसरा was जंगल ना, तो जंगल एक्चुअली ना तुम लैंड को ऐसे क्लासीफाई कर सकते हो, लैंड को ऐसे क्लासीफाई कर सकते हो, द गवर्नमेंट लैंड, द प्राइवेट लैंड, द फॉरेस्ट लैंड एंड द मिनरल रिच लैंड. ठीक है, तो प्राइवेट लैंड पे लैंड रिफॉर्म्स वर नॉट प्रॉपरली इम्प्लीमेंटेड. फॉरेस्ट लैंड पे द फॉरेस्ट लॉज लाइक इंडियन फॉरेस्ट एक्ट एंड फॉरेस्ट कंजर्वेशन एक्ट 1980 and this is 1927, this was not properly implemented and this led to what is known as destruction of nature man spirit, because they consider nature man spirit, because they consider they consider the earth as very sacred, and they consider it as mother earth. समझ रहे हो? एंड देन मिनरल रिच लैंड, इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट्स, हाँ ये भी एक PYQ था, इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट्स have led to alienation, they acquiring the land, and that is why this has led to alienation. So these were land related issues. Now displacement है, displacement इसीलिए हो रहा है यार because see अब वही है, इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट आएंगे वो उनको निकाल देंगे, फॉरेस्ट लॉज ऐसे हमने बना दिए जो हमने उनका ओल्ड ट्राइबल रिलेशनशिप ख़राब कर दिया. सो दिस लेड टू देयर डिस्प्लेसमेंट फ्रॉम द लैंड. Or also displacement is due to what is known as development led or I should say developmental projects led displacement. They actually, tribal people are 9% of the population, but they bear a very disproportionate brunt, like 40% because of developmental projects they have to bear the brunt of it. ठीक है, they have to bear the brunt of it. Again, displacement related issues. Then you can write the economic issues. अब they have to be displaced, so they will lose their livelihood, and when they will lose their livelihood and they do not have an alternate means of livelihood because they are very what should I say, a low skill, बहुत low है उनकी skills में. That is why they do not have an alternate mode of employment, and this leads to what is known as a vicious cycle of poverty. Also economic reasons में you can write about what is known as they're a cash ridden economy, मतलब कैश नहीं है उनके पास, and then comes the role of money lenders who again exploit them to a very large extent. Then is social reasons में you can write about exclusion, ठीक है, marginalization, the feeling of relative deprivation, ठीक है, the feeling of us versus them, ठीक है. They have to suffer from the problem of untouchability because of poor implementation of SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act, ठीक है. And then comes the governance and the developmental deficit issues. इसमें what you can write about governance and developmental deficit issues में non proper implementation of laws like PESA, like 5th 6th schedule, like Forest Rights Act 2006. This is a beautiful legislation based on the idea of B.K. Roy Burman Committee, which says or I should say talks about joint forest management. Ki conservation will happen when these tribal communities would be included in the forest management, because unki activities are not that they will destroy the forest. No, their activities are in coherence with the conservation, with the idea of conservation, hence they needs to be included, ठीक है. FRA 2006 governmental or you can talk about the what is known as trigger happy culture. They do not have a good relationship with security forces, bureaucratic apathy, and the bad behavior of forest personnel, or also bureaucrats coming in these areas and treating this as punishment posting. Is the another reason कि they do not give their 100%, and that is why this trust deficit is developed between the administration. And the local people, and this vacuum is actually occupied by Naxalites, and thus the problem of left-wing extremism, ठीक है, these were the reasons. Governmental deficit, international factors I've already told you. So these were the reasons. Okay, now we'll be talking about, I'm sorry for the disturbance. Now we'll be talking about, see it has shown the downward trend. So we need downward trend दिखाया है इसने. अब जब उसने डाउनवर्ड ट्रेंड दिखाया, सो वी नीड सम स्टैट्स रिलेटेड टू इट. सो यू कैन राइट कि देयर वाज 90 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स, 95 districts थे approximately which were affected by Naxalism, and now there are 45 districts only. This is a 2022 data and this was 2010 के आसपास का data, right? So this is showing the downward trend of Naxalism. ठीक है, okay. And then you can write about the reasons, because there have been various government initiatives. That is why there is डेवलपमेंटल साइड पे भी है और व्हाट इज सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस वाले एंड पर भी है. ठीक है, डेवलपमेंटल साइड पे भी है और सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस के एंड पे भी है. देयर आर वेरियस इनिशिएटिव्स. सो गाइज, initiatives we'll be doing in the next class. So in the next class I'll be doing solutions, and then I'll be doing the initiatives which have been taken, and then the way forward, and also the multi-pronged approach, and then the conclusion, a very beautiful and a very crisp conclusion, and then this topic would be finished. So yes, thank you very much.